I really gotta say, it's unlike any city I have ever been to. What is up, everyone? I am in Antigua, Guatemala. I will be here for literally over a week. And oh my God, Guatemala, country number 18, just came from El Salvador. I am so excited to see everything that this ancient and historic city has to offer. There is literally so much that we are going to have to get through. There are volcanoes that I'm gonna be climbing. There's of course the central market, and wow, it's such a different experience than anything that I'm used to prior. I mean, like the streets, the way the structural layout is, Guatemala is just something that, you know, it's a real first for me. I don't want to say that it was a little bit of a culture shock during my first couple hours here, but honestly, it has been just the way of life, but like in a good way. Like I love seeing how everything is taking place, and Guatemalan culture just seems so fun, seems energetic, seems chaotic, but like a controlled chaos. So yeah, looking forward to it. So much to see. And with Antigua, you have the city in the center, and you have volcanoes that literally surround this place. You got Mount Pacaya, Mount Fuego, Mount Acatenango, so many more. It just adds to the beauty with how old the town feels. They preserve it so well, and then you literally look straight and you're seeing volcano after volcano. I love how well preserved Antigua is. I mean, it really is incredible because the homes have remained the same that they were decades and decades ago. The reason it's called Antigua is that it means the old city, and this is the former capital of Guatemala. It literally is the oldest city in the entire country, and yeah, they've preserved it, and literally nothing here is, I don't want to say modern, but it's the truth. Nothing here in terms of the homes is modern, but everything is so colorful. Literally every single home is brightly painted, and you know, this city's so colorful that it extends beyond the homes. You have all the different shops, different umbrellas. You have, of course, the chicken buses, which are all painted these crazy colors. And oh my God, you go through the market and wow, yeah, it's like you're entering a rainbow. To keep with the theme of everything being preserved the way it was when this city was first established back during the 16th century, that the roads are still made of stone. Sure, they have the ability to put actual, like, real pavement on it, but no, it's part of what makes it so great. But one thing though is that when you are driving in a car, oh my God, because it's all stone, it's incredibly bumpy. The car is going up and down. It's a very walkable city. I mean, the whole setup is in a grid pattern, which makes sense considering that the Mayans were settled here way back when, and they really loved their grid pattern. So it makes everything so simple and easy to go across, makes navigations so smooth, and it makes being able to visit the different sites almost, you know, like you don't really gotta think much. If something's on 6th Avenue and you need to get to 9th, like you walk 3 blocks. Okay, so I was told by a local that, yeah, the way you cross the street is you just go. You just hope that there's no cars coming, you look around, and you take off. There are no street lights here anywhere. There are no stop signs anywhere. So it's up to the drivers to coordinate when they're going, especially when cars need to turn and all that. And intersections, oh my God, some of these are so busy. So you can imagine how that goes. Oh, I picture there are so many accidents. See, like right now, I don't know when to cross because there's no crosswalk. I guess I go now and I just run because yeah, people don't have the right of way. You just gotta hope that there's openings. See, like people are trying to cross and then like that. The motorcycle will just go. Yeah, I'm not gonna cross yet because motorcycles are coming. And even though there's an officer not directing traffic whatsoever, being a driver in this must be an absolute nightmare. You have no idea when to go. And let me re-emphasize, be careful when crossing the street, because yeah, these cars just go and you don't know when one's gonna zoom out of nowhere or a motorcycle's gonna come, and yeah, they won't stop for you. So yeah, although it is a very walkable city, sometimes walking through the streets, yeah, that's a little bit of a struggle. I love the term controlled chaos because yeah, the streets are chaotic. The lifestyle is a combination of like slow and fast-paced at the same time. The markets though, although it's calmer, still present an element that is far different from the United States or markets in what we consider like the developed world. But this chaos, it works for Guatemalans. I'm talking about on like a day-to-day life, not greater issues like economic or political injustice. So now I am in pretty much the central plaza, and a lot of people are hanging out here. It's a short distance from everywhere in Antigua because Antigua isn't actually that big. You can walk down pretty much every street in the city in an entire day if you really wanted to. But here, a lot of people sitting, hanging out, the locals. You have some people playing music, and again, you have people selling, whether it's different homemade wristbands that they made or just many other different items, and yeah, they're all colorful. The central plaza is beautiful with a cathedral and then all of the lush greenery and the purple blossoms. So here now in the afternoon, especially as work hours are really ending for everyone, there are so many vendors here, and it is great to see. There are probably about like 25-30 different individuals selling everything from handmade bracelets to artwork. I mean, they were here earlier in the day, but it's just much more now. It's time to get some souvenirs and negotiate prices while I'm at it. In the US, you don't have to negotiate anywhere, so it's not a skill that I have. I just definitely overpaid for two really small handmade little bags. I paid about equivalent of $5 US. I think I got two for 40 quetzales. Oh, I easily could have gotten them for probably 20 quetzales. So let's negotiate and let's improve on my skill. Being in the central plaza with a lot of vendors, I know they are going to highball me. I probably should go to other places, but I think, you know, it can be fun. I just had a really fun interaction with this vendor, a very nice lady. I got a magnet and a handmade bracelet for 30 quetzales. So take that to be around 360. Okay, so I just found this shop while walking. It is called Nimpat Centro de Textiles Tradicionales. And oh my God, it is literally just clothes. It is the brightest colored clothes. It's showing traditional Antiguan garments. And oh my God, it's so vibrant, it's so colorful. Like, it's literally like there's a rainbow within here, and there's just so many different rainbows. It really shows kind of the excitement of Antigua, and it really, this shop represents the culture here, because look at me, and I'm turning around and you see all these different colors, los colores brillantes. This is so exciting to see, and I'm just walking around and I'm seeing so many different things, whether it's shirts, whether it's dresses, whether it's masks, towels, anything that could be made from textile, which also textile, a big industry here, both in terms of selling it for tourism purposes, but also making clothes, traditional clothes for people to wear themselves, but also all throughout Guatemala, not specifically to Antigua, because Antigua doesn't really have manufacturing facilities, but manufacturing of textiles, big. When people think of Central America, this shop is literally what comes to my mind. Like, this is literally what pops into my head. The brightness, it feels just like a happiness. There's music playing in the background that, you know, is very upbeat. And you also have all of the different animal heads throughout. Not real animal heads, they're made out of wood and then they're painted bright colors. Here in Guatemala, they use the quetzales, so make sure that you go to a bank to exchange it. At the time of this video, the current exchange rate is roughly 8 quetzales per $1 US. Even though it's called the Central Market, I mean, that would imply that there's one market and it's, you know, they're all together. But these, it's kind of like many different streets that you turn down one street and it's just rows and rows of the stand, and then you go another block down, another 2 blocks down, and there's another one. And like, they're located a little bit throughout the city. They sell literally everything that you could think of here, whether it's shirts, pants, fruit, vegetables, different jewelry even. I mean, there's just so much. There are also other goods like shoes or toys. The inside part is massive. Like, it's literally like a mall. I'm not even kidding, but like an indoor mall that has just everything. Oh my God, I just keep walking down aisle after aisle, and it's just new stuff. There are specific areas that, at least on the inside portion, that are specifically dedicated to fruits and vegetables, like this one right here. And then there are others that are selling food, some appliances. Just wow. Another point showing how old it is and how well preserved. These are ancient walls, and they form actually the barriers of homes, and then the walls around properties. They built around these even in the present day. There are even some ancient walls that are still up, and they actually take those walls and they use it as walls for like their real homes, or they have it as barriers for their property. So here we got Las Ruinas de San Jerónimo, and what these are ancient Mayan ruins. It costs about $5 to get in. It's not much, it's just some ruins that you can walk through. You probably see them in about really like 5-10 minutes if you wanted to. And I still think it's cool though, the fact that literally in the middle of Antigua, about 2.5 minutes from the market, that there's Mayan ruins still up. And the fact that some of the ruins are still literally right along the street, like on the sidewalk. Like, here's the sidewalk, here's a part of a former wall. How cool. Literally more ruins right here. And look, there's a kids park right beside it. I'm now more in like the outskirts, like kind of by a residential area, as you could see, but still within the city of Antigua. I mean, like, they are everywhere and they're still in good condition. This is so cool. Right now I'm in front of the La Iglesia de la Merced, and wow, it is, oh my God, it is stunning. It really is. You have the bright yellows and you have just the Central American architecture throughout, and also like the power that it has in the city, because Catholicism is such an important part of the culture. It's so big and so much taller than the other building that you feel its presence. There are a decent amount of people sitting around. There are some artists selling their art, and people hanging out. It is one of the center points of town for people to congregate. And yeah, as you see in this video, it is stunning and beautiful, and really, again, shows the vibrancy of Antigua, because Antigua is such a colorful city. And I love the design aspect too of the white designs on top of the yellow. It really makes it stick out, especially how you have the figures, and then you go and you make your way to the top, and there starts to be a little bit more white as you go up. And you know, churches like these, I was just in Ireland, where Catholicism is extremely prominent and prevalent, and those churches and cathedrals were so different than these. So I find that really interesting, both cathedrals and both extremely different in terms of architecture. So yeah, La Iglesia, and probably the most prominent and famous landmark in all of Antigua. Look right here. So the Ark was created back in the 17th century as part of two buildings that were together. It allowed the nuns to go from one building to another without having to actually go through the outside. It really is beautiful how you have the Ark, and then right down there you have the cathedral, especially the fact that it's yellow, and then it's yellow, adding so many bright colors. You know, honestly, right around here, besides the market, this may be the most colorful part of Antigua. So many different stores with traditional Guatemalan clothing, and yeah, those are incredibly bright as well. Honestly, I don't know why so many people are drawn to this. In my mind, it's just an arch that's painted yellow. I understand the historical significance. It's cool that I'm here, but I think so many other great things to get yourself immersed in the culture. Right around here, it is all just tourists. There are no locals, which makes sense, honestly, right? It's one of the attractions, so people are coming here, and of course that means that it's going to attract street vendors, people selling different items, people selling ice cream, as well as all of the touristy stores. Okay, so another thing that caught me off guard was just how strong the UV rays are. Like, wow, they are powerful. I never put on sunscreen during the summertime, and I never get sunburned. While yesterday I did put on sunscreen, and yet I still got sunburned, which I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of altitude as well, how it allows the UV rays to hit us much more easily. So yeah, if you're going here, put on sunscreen because you will need it. The Cathedral de San José, and wow, again, very big, right near Parque Central de Antigua. But you know, even though it's so massive, it doesn't have the yellow and white flavor that the other one does. Don't get me wrong though, still a great structure. I'm absolutely loving the street vendors. I am such a huge fan of street food, and yeah, if you're here, get yourself something on the street just to, you know, experience it. They are in the market. The street vendors are just, you know, so many different places in the city. So just get yourself something, whether it's a nice rice and beans and chicken dish, arroz con pollo, or this other like corn starch. They have this cool like tortilla made out of cornstarch. This is what I ended up getting from that street vendor. I have the two very thin pupusas, and I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I'm so excited to give it a try. In terms of restaurants, I've been getting it from a lot of street vendors, but there are so many different restaurants as well. They have sit down, and they are very, very lovely, have great scenery. A lot of them have open air areas where you're not on the streets, you're in the back, and you have this amazing outside and the overlook of the volcanoes above. So yeah, I definitely try all of these great places as well. They have typical Guatemalan food, and it's not just that. If you don't like Guatemalan food only, you can get some Italian food as well. There are some Italian places, American food, so like burgers, but the majority of them are Guatemalan specific. One cafe that I love is El Viejo Cafe. The scenery is so elegant. It honestly in the US would be considered rather high-end and really, really fun and nice. And let me tell you, price is so good. I got this incredible pulled pork sandwich for for the equivalency of $3 US. Even the McDonald's fits into the city. It's crazy. I mean, the building that it's in, it's no different than any other building here. Honestly, it could look like a home. It's bright yellow on the outside, has these purple reefs, and it is a beautiful building. And then you walk in and sure, it's a McDonald's, just like a regular McDonald's, but you still have this regular Antigua feeling, being able to look out into kind of like this garden area and being able to have this sitting area where you're looking outside. And then when you get inside, oh my God, it's so much cooler. I mean, just look at this. You have Mayan rugs, you have Mayan ruins built as an actual wall, and then this sitting area, oh my God, how beautiful is this? You have all of the plants in this outside area. It feels like an elegant restaurant. I mean, just look at this, and you have all the colorful designs. Like, if I were to have shown you this video and not told you it's a McDonald's, you would have been like, oh, this has got to be like a very nice cafe here, a very, enjoyable sit-down restaurant. Not McDonald's. And it's not just McDonald's that's built like this. Taco Bell is as well. Those are the only two fast food chains that I have stepped into. I haven't eaten from either of them, but just like walked into to see what it's like. And wow, I guess Antigua makes sure that if you have these big name corporations, especially these big fast food chains come in, that it still preserves Antigua culture and history. You feel just how old and antique Antigua is no matter where you go. They don't keep it that way in just the touristy areas as a way of like bringing tourists in and like having that as like an attraction. No, it's genuinely how the city is. I am now walking in what's kind of considered like a little bit of the outskirts of Antigua, and it is still exactly the same. You have the multicolored homes that look like that they could be from like the 16th or 17th century. You have the cobblestone, or I guess these aren't cobblestones, but you have the stone streets everywhere. It's so cool how the city has preserved itself so much and for so long, like literally centuries and centuries. This lifestyle is so different than anything I am ever used to, because it is controlled chaos in the fact that there's this saying that things operate on Guate time, and what Guate time actually is that people are late for everything. Like literally, like the reason I'm here is I'm doing a humanitarian project. I'm doing construction to build up infrastructure here, mainly so people don't feel the need to actually immigrate to the United States. They can build a real lifestyle actually here. But going back to Guate time, the first thing that they told us during the project was that people are going to be late. It's just a part of the culture. But the thing is though, is that when those people are late, they literally like speed through the streets to kind of make up for their lateness. I don't know. It's just something that is very different than the punctuality of, I'll say, like countries like really like Germany that I'm used to, and to an extent like the United States. I feel like, at least relatively compared to the rest of the world, is very punctual. So it's very easy to tell the difference here between who's a tourist and who's a not, just based off what everyone's wearing. I mean, you see anyone in long pants and a nice shirt, they're Guatemalan. If you see someone in t-shirt and shorts, they're a tourist. And the street vendors will see that, and they will only approach the tourists. You don't see any Guatemalans approached. It's very interesting. Somebody who I am here with that I met as part of my project that I'm doing here did an experiment where on Monday he went through the market and he was approached by numerous vendors. He was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Tuesday, he put on traditional Guatemalan clothing, and he was only approached 1 or 2 times compared to like the dozens and dozens as well. The home structure is interesting because you have all of the homes kept in its antique form, and then you have the wall, and then boom, big door and wall again. All of the homes are connected to each other, just forming one straight row. It's almost like it was one massive building that they built, and they have, you know, just like walls that divide each home. There are a lot of tourists here of different nationalities, certainly a decent amount of Americans, and there's also a decent amount of female travelers as well. I have spoken to so many people that were like, why in the world are you going to Guatemala? And I'm like, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna have such a great time. And they were like, well, you're lucky you're a guy, because, you know, if you were my son, this is why I'm speaking to people who are much older than me, they're like, you know, if you were my son, I wouldn't be happy about you going. If you were my daughter, I would forbid you from going. But there are a lot of female and many like solo female travelers as well. You know, it's not an overwhelming amount, but it's noticeable. I feel like overall the tourism here is much less than other places that I've been to, but yeah, it's still prominent. But keep in mind though the fact that there is not like overwhelming amount of tourists, and this is the tourist capital of the city. Like no tourists really go to Guatemala City. If you're in Guate, you're usually coming to Antigua. So yeah, it still shows though that Guatemala has ways to go in being able to attract the tourism numbers that the people here and the government hope that they can do. One of the negatives about Central America is I can't go outside when the sun goes down, because I love being able to walk around the city at night, because I feel like it gives you a whole sense that you don't get to experience without it. But you know, safety wise, it's not a good idea, unfortunately. Wow, yeah, the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I'm disappointed that I can't walk around more, because I was really enjoying myself. It's only 5:30 and I have to go back to the house. I guess that's more of a reason though to wake up early to get a bright start to my day. So my time in Antigua has come to a close, and I really gotta say, it's unlike any city I have ever been to. Just obviously because of the history and how ancient it feels from the city layout. So different than anywhere I have ever been. So different than the United States, so different than Europe, and it really gives you that true Central American feel. It's something that I think that everyone should experience at least once. Come and see the joy and the fun that Central America has to offer. I mean, look at this. We turn around and we just enjoy everything that's happening. So I am so glad that I came here. I think it was really fun, and you know, definitely take a chance and come here if you are thinking about coming to Central America. Maybe you're doing, some people do like a Central American tour where they'll go to all the different countries. So yeah, make sure you hit up Antigua. I understand why it's the capital of tourism in Guatemala, and also something that's very different is there's not really a lot of sightseeing. I guess the main sites is just kind of like the market. So it's not like you can go place to place and be like at all touristy spots. It's just, you know, you kind of go and walk around and feel the vibe, and that's what I love about it.